Hello and welcome to this in-depth exploration of a fascinating and often mysterious subject. The possibility that a parallel version of you, existing in another reality, could be trying to communicate with you. Today, we will delve into the foundations of quantum theory and cosmology, consider spiritual and metaphysical teachings, and explore practical steps for identifying and interpreting signals that might arise from these parallel realities. Whether you approach this topic with a purely scientific mindset, a spiritual perspective, or a blend of both, this video aims to provide a coherent, structured overview and help you form your own conclusions. Let us begin by examining the concept of multiple realities and how they might influence our individual experiences. Before we explore the idea of messages from a parallel version of yourself, let us define what we mean by parallel realities. In popular culture, these might be called alternate timelines, multiple dimensions, or parallel universes. The notion is that for every decision you make, or in some theories, for every quantum event, there could exist a separate branching of reality in which a different outcome unfolds. These diverse outcomes could spawn countless, if not infinite, versions of the universe and, by extension, versions of you living alternate paths. From a purely physical standpoint, the concept stems from interpretations of quantum mechanics, such as Hugh Everett III's many worlds interpretation, which posits that the quantum wave function never collapses, but instead continually branches into different realities. While mainstream science has not conclusively proven or disproven the communication between these possible realities, the idea has ignited lively debate among physicists, cosmologists, and philosophers. On the more metaphysical or spiritual side, many teachers and authors propose that consciousness itself transcends the physical constraints of time and space, allowing us to connect or even tune in to other versions of ourselves. They suggest that our intuition, dreams, synchronicities, and profound feelings of déjà vu might be glimpses or signals originating from these parallel existences. In the sections that follow, we will build a foundation, starting with the science. Next, we will integrate the metaphysical viewpoint, detail the possible signs of communication from a parallel self, discuss techniques for perceiving and interpreting these signals, and conclude with practical steps for applying these insights to our everyday lives. To anchor our discussion, it is essential to survey key scientific theories that support, or at least allow for the possibility of multiple universes. While these theories may not explicitly confirm that you are communicating with your alternate self, they open a window of possibility that parallel realities might indeed exist. Many worlds interpretation, MWI, of quantum mechanics. Proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III in his 1957 doctoral thesis, the many worlds interpretation suggests that every quantum event spawns new branches of the universal wave function, creating a vast, possibly infinite number of parallel universes. Under conventional or Copenhagen interpretations of quantum mechanics, a wave function collapses upon measurement, selecting one outcome among many probabilities. Everett challenged this, proposing that all outcomes remain real, but occur in separate, non-communicating branches. Here is where it becomes intriguing for our discussion. Although the MWI does not explicitly state that these separate branches can interact or convey information, it does allow for the possibility that multiple versions of you exist. If every choice you make spawns a separate universe, each you would continue to exist in its own branch. The question is whether there is a mechanism outside the standard model of physics that could allow these versions to share information, what some might call messages or intuitive signals. Theoretical multiverses in cosmology. Beyond the realm of quantum mechanics, certain cosmological theories also hint at the existence of multiple universes. For instance, physicist Max Tegmark categorizes potential multiverses into 4 levels. Level Y, regions of space beyond our observable horizon, which could mimic our own physical laws, but remain causally disconnected. Level 2, universes arising from different inflationary processes, potentially with varying physical constants. Level 3. This essentially overlaps with the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. Level 4. Universes defined by entirely different mathematical structures. String theory and related concepts, as discussed by Brian Greene in The Elegant Universe and Michio Kaku in Parallel Worlds, also provide frameworks where multiple dimensions and brane worlds may exist side by side. Again, these approaches do not confirm direct communication among universes, but they lay a theoretical foundation in which the notion of parallel existences is not purely science fiction. Limits of scientific validation. It is critical to emphasize that, within mainstream physics, claims of interaction or message exchange between parallel universes are considered speculative. No experiment has definitively proven such communication. The many worlds hypothesis itself remains one of several interpretations, and the existence of any multiverse structure is still an open question. Yet the debate continues, and as science advances, especially in the realms of quantum computing and gravitational cosmology, what seems impossible today may transform into a domain of testable hypotheses tomorrow. In parallel with scientific inquiry, many spiritual teachings and metaphysical traditions present models for reality in which consciousness, not matter, is the fundamental substrate of existence. These perspectives suggest that our inner experiences, intuition, dreams, meditative states, are potential portals for connecting with aspects of ourselves that exist in what might be called parallel or non-physical realms. Quantum jumping and related teachings. One widely referenced approach is Burt Goldman's quantum jumping. Goldman proposes that, through directed meditation and visualization, individuals can leap into different timelines or realities where they already embody certain skills, wisdom, or achievements. He encourages practitioners to enter a relaxed mental state and envision meeting a version of themselves that has mastered a particular area, whether that is artistic ability, entrepreneurial success, or emotional resilience. According to Goldman's teachings, synchronicities, sudden insights, and even rapid skill acquisition can be viewed as the fruits of this connection with one's parallel self. Critics of quantum jumping argue that it oversimplifies the complexities of quantum theory and conflates psychological phenomena with physics. Yet, for many practitioners, the experiences are subjectively real and transformative. Consciousness-centric models. Authors like Amit Goswami, The Self-Aware Universe, Fred Alan Wolf, Parallel Universes, The Search for Other Worlds, and Michael Talbot, The Holographic Universe, each discuss frameworks in which consciousness is not just an emergent property of the brain. Instead, consciousness is seen as a fundamental, universal field that shapes or collapses reality. Within these frameworks, parallel realities are not merely hypothetical, but can be accessed through shifts in consciousness. For instance, some spiritual traditions equate the process of dream work, meditation, or even prayer with traversing different layers of reality. From these perspectives, if consciousness can exist independently of space and time, then it may also bridge the gap between various dimensions or timelines. Vibration and the law of attraction. Teachers in the realm of the law of attraction, such as Esther Hicks, channeling Abraham, and writers like Neville Goddard, often highlight the idea that everything is ultimately energy vibrating at specific frequencies. Shifting your inner vibrational state through thought, emotion, and focused intention can align you with new life experiences. In more esoteric interpretations, this can be seen as tuning into a reality where you already possess what you desire. For those who embrace this point of view, messages from a parallel version of yourself might manifest as sudden surges of inspiration, repeated number patterns like 1111 or 2222, or meaningful coincidences that guide you toward a higher or more fulfilling path. Although traditional science views these events as random or psychologically driven, spiritual frameworks interpret them as clear signals of vibrational alignment with another possible reality. Now that we have laid out both the scientific and spiritual frameworks, let us discuss potential signs or experiences that could indicate a parallel version of you is attempting to make contact. While the notion of contact varies depending on whether one looks at this through a scientific or metaphysical lens, we will highlight some of the most frequently reported phenomena: déjà vu and intense familiarity. Déjà vu is a sensation where a new situation feels deeply familiar, as though you have lived it before. Although neuroscientists often attribute déjà vu to memory glitches, some metaphysical schools suggest it could be a bleed-through from alternate timelines. If you experience repeated déjà vu specifically tied to certain decisions or directions in your life, it might be worth considering whether this phenomenon is nudging you toward awareness of another path you could be living elsewhere. Dreams of alternate lives or interacting with another you. Dreams provide a symbolic tapestry where our subconscious processes daily experiences, unresolved emotions, and sometimes spiritual insights. In certain dream states, particularly lucid dreams, you may vividly sense that you are living a life quite different from your current one. You might see yourself in a different career, with different relationships, or even in a future scenario. Journaling these dreams and looking for recurring themes, lessons, or dialogues can be a powerful way to detect patterns that might be messages from a parallel self. Sudden flashes of insight or inspiration. Have you ever experienced a eureka moment out of nowhere, where a complex problem suddenly becomes clear? While these could be normal cognitive processes, some individuals interpret these bursts of clarity as downloads of information from another version of themselves who has already solved that problem. For example, an artist might abruptly conceive of an entire new painting style, or an entrepreneur might visualize an innovative solution to a long-standing challenge. Whether psychological or truly interdimensional, these bursts of insight often come with a sense of certainty that feels beyond mere guesswork. Rapid skill acquisition or shifts in behavior. In certain anecdotal reports, people claim they have tapped into latent abilities, learning a musical instrument at a remarkable pace, or quickly picking up a new language, following deep meditative or spiritual practice. One interpretation is that they are channeling knowledge from a parallel version of themselves who already mastered that skill. While the scientific community would attribute such phenomena to intensified focus, neuroplasticity, or a placebo-like effect, individuals who resonate with quantum or spiritual perspectives see this as evidence of inter-reality communication, synchronicities, and repeating patterns. Synchronicities are often cited as meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by random chance alone. Repeated number patterns, serendipitous encounters, and recurring symbols, like seeing the same animal or image in diverse contexts, can act as breadcrumbs, leading you to a deeper understanding of your path. Some interpret these synchronicities as signs from the universe or a higher self, while others believe they could represent messaging from parallel timelines. For instance, if you repeatedly see references to a city you have never visited, perhaps your parallel self lives there, nudging you to explore a new location or opportunity. If you are intrigued and want to explore whether you are receiving messages from a parallel version of yourself, you can employ various techniques that blend mindfulness, introspection, and focused attention. These methods often help sharpen your awareness, making subtle signals more noticeable. Meditation and visualization. Perhaps the most universal technique is meditation. Whether you choose a traditional mindfulness-based practice or a more specialized guided visualization, sitting in silence with the intention to connect with your deeper self can sharpen your intuitive faculties. During meditation, you might mentally envision stepping into a doorway or portal that leads you to a meeting with your parallel self. Pay attention to any images, words, or emotions that surface. Record these insights in a journal immediately afterward. Dream journaling. Keeping a dream journal next to your bed is a potent way to track nocturnal symbolism and potential inter-reality experiences. Upon waking, jot down every detail you can recall, even fragments. Over time, patterns or recurring characters might emerge. If you notice that you keep encountering the same version of yourself living a distinct life scenario, it might be worth examining the possible message or lesson this parallel existence could hold. Scripting and written dialogue. A more structured method is to engage in a form of automatic writing or scripting. Sit quietly and write, or type, a question directed toward your parallel self. Then, allow whatever comes to mind to flow onto the page without overthinking or censoring. This process can help you tap into deep layers of intuition or subconscious knowledge. Whether you believe you are actually channeling your parallel self or simply accessing hidden parts of your psyche, the technique can yield remarkable clarity. Experimenting with altered states of consciousness. Various modalities, from shamanic drumming and breathwork to sensory deprivation and certain forms of guided hypnosis, can produce altered states of consciousness in which people report encountering other realities or other versions of themselves. While these methods should always be approached responsibly and in some cases, under professional supervision, they can offer immersive experiences that transcend ordinary awareness. Such states might provide a potent arena for receiving or confirming messages from parallel universes. One of the central questions in this entire inquiry is the nature of consciousness itself. If consciousness is strictly an emergent property of the brain, as many neuroscientists maintain, then the notion of inter-reality communication seems highly unlikely, barring new physics that allows such interactions. On the other hand, if consciousness is primary and fundamental, it could hypothetically transcend the boundaries of time, space, and parallel universes. If consciousness has quantum underpinnings, then perhaps phenomena like entanglement or superposition might allow for deeper, more subtle connections that we are just beginning to understand. Collective unconscious and the shared psyche. In psychology, Carl Jung introduced the concept of the collective unconscious, a realm of archetypes and universal symbols shared by all human beings. While Jung's theories do not specifically reference parallel universes, the idea of a collective psychic network resonates with certain spiritual perspectives that see consciousness as an interconnected web. Extending this to parallel realities, one could conjecture that each branch of yourself is connected to the same deeper wellspring of consciousness, enabling cross-communication through archetypal language, dreams, or synchronicity. It is important to address the skepticism that surrounds this topic. From a scientific standpoint, many argue that the lack of empirical data or testable predictions makes claims of communication with parallel versions of oneself unverifiable. Skeptics often categorize the purported phenomena, déjà vu, synchronicities, dream messages, as cognitive illusions, confirmation bias, or pattern-seeking behavior. They point out that the human brain is wired to detect patterns even where none exist, and that attributing random coincidences to messages from another dimension can be a form of magical thinking. On the spiritual side, some caution that overemphasizing the idea of other versions of yourself can detract from fully living the life at hand. If a person becomes too fixated on what might have been, or what another timeline version is doing, they risk neglecting the present moment's opportunities and responsibilities. Hence, a balanced approach is often encouraged. Remain open to the possibility that reality may be more expansive than we currently understand, but stay grounded in critical thinking and mindful living. Regardless of whether you believe in the literal existence of parallel universes, the concept can serve as a powerful metaphor or tool for personal growth. Let us explore how you can integrate these ideas in a practical manner. Expanding your sense of possibility. One of the most beneficial outcomes of exploring parallel realities is the expansion of your sense of possibility. Rather than viewing your life as fixed, you begin to consider that there might be many paths, talents, or solutions available to you. This mindset can enhance creativity and foster resilience, as it encourages you to remain open and adaptive, tapping into inner resources. By meditating or visualizing a version of yourself who has already achieved a specific goal, you can glean insights that motivate real-world action. For example, if you struggle with confidence, you might envision a parallel self who is self-assured in social settings. Through vivid imagination and introspection, you can borrow that confidence, translating it into behaviors that gradually become habitual in your current reality, using synchronicities as guidance. Even if you remain skeptical about their ultimate source, synchronicities can be practical markers that help you pause, reflect, and reevaluate your choices. Whenever you notice recurring patterns or meaningful coincidences, ask yourself, is there a message here for me? What lesson or direction might this pattern be pointing me toward? By treating synchronicities as prompts for self-reflection, you integrate them as a constructive part of your personal development, balancing curiosity with grounded action. Embracing the idea of parallel realities does not imply neglecting responsibilities in your present life. Instead, it can enrich your perspective, offering fresh solutions, new motivations, and creative sparks. The key is to balance imaginative exploration with tangible steps. If you believe you have received a message from a parallel self, such as to pursue a new career path, work methodically to test and implement that guidance in practical ways, such as networking, upgrading your skill set, or seeking mentorship. Should you wish to dive deeper into this subject, a number of books, articles, and online resources can expand your understanding. Hugh Everett III's original thesis, 1957. The Theory of the Universal Wave Function, a challenging but foundational read for the many worlds interpretation. Max Tegmark, Our Mathematical Universe, 2014, explores various levels of the multiverse and how math underpins reality. Michio Kaku, Parallel Worlds, 2005. Accessible explanations of cosmological models for parallel universes. Brian Greene, The Elegant Universe, 1999, discusses string theory and hidden dimensions. Bert Goldman, Quantum Jumping, workshops and materials provide a metaphysical approach to connecting with parallel selves. Michael Talbot, The Holographic Universe, 1991, delves into how reality might be a holographic projection, leaving room for multiple versions of reality. Amit Goswami, The Self-Aware Universe, 1993, presents a consciousness-based interpretation of quantum mechanics. Exploring such resources can give you a richer background and help you decide where you stand on the question of communication across parallel realities. As we come to the end of this exploration, we must acknowledge that the question, are parallel versions of you really sending you messages, does not lend itself to a definitive, universally agreed upon answer. We stand at the boundary between science and spirituality, between what can be empirically tested and what remains in the realm of personal experience, intuition, and belief. From a scientific angle, while theories like the many worlds interpretation make the existence of parallel universes plausible, mainstream physics does not support the notion of direct exchange of information across these branches. Nonetheless, the seeds of possibility remain, especially if future developments reveal aspects of consciousness or quantum mechanics that are currently beyond our grasp. From a spiritual or metaphysical standpoint, the idea that your consciousness might transcend linear time and space to access knowledge from alternate versions of yourself can be a profoundly empowering concept. It invites a broader view of who you are, what reality might be, and how your inner world can shape your outer experiences. Whether through meditation, dreams, synchronicities, or intuitive flashes, many individuals feel they have, at times, tapped into something greater than their everyday awareness. Ultimately, the most valuable takeaway from this discussion might be agency, the recognition that your life is rich with unexplored possibilities. By staying open-minded, you can allow insights from both scientific findings and spiritual teachings to inform your decisions. You can experiment with meditation, dream journaling, or visualization to see whether any new perspectives or solutions arise, and you can integrate those insights with a healthy dose of skepticism and critical thinking. Rather than waiting for external proof, consider examining how these ideas resonate with your personal experiences. Perhaps you will find that occasionally, you do feel guided by something that seems greater than mere coincidence. Perhaps you will discover the opposite, that these ideas serve as metaphors or psychological tools rather than literal truths. Whatever conclusion you reach, the journey of questioning and exploring can enrich your life, stimulate your intellect, and deepen your sense of wonder about this mysterious universe we inhabit. Thank you for joining me on this extensive journey through the science, spirituality, and personal exploration of parallel realities. I hope this video has expanded your horizons, encouraged deeper reflection, and perhaps sparked a curiosity that will inspire further reading and personal experimentation. If you found value in this discussion, consider sharing it with like-minded explorers, and let us continue to broaden our conversations about the nature of reality, both known and unknown. Remember, whether these parallel selves are real in the physical sense or serve as powerful metaphors for personal growth, your willingness to explore beyond the ordinary can open doors to transformation and a deeper sense of purpose. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and embrace the marvelous complexity that is your consciousness and this ever-unfolding cosmos.